Welcome to this edition of Community Connection. Today we're sitting with Tori Johnson. He is the owner of Dual Printing right here in Ramsey. Welcome, Tori.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here, Tori. So to get us started, why don't you tell our viewers a little bit about yourself, where you grew up, and how you got into owning the business that you own today?
Well, I grew up right here in Anoka County, Ham Lake. I grew up in between Bunker Hills Golf Course and Majestic Oaks. So never hit a golf ball. I just went there and shagged golf balls and sold them, make my little entrepreneur business. But eventually did end up playing a lot of golf. So I played Bunker Hills quite a bit, and Majestic Oaks quite a bit. Love Anoka County. Moved away for about 2 months to Omaha, but then came back. Been here all my life. Been in Ramsey for over 20 years now, and really liking it. I'm on the planning commission. One of the planning commissioners here, so I guess we get to make some decisions.
Oh, very nice. Yeah.
Pray for us. Another side note: be very thankful for the city employees. They do a hard job. And they do it very well.
Especially here in Ramsey, as we grow.
Yeah.
They're doing this. I don't know much about other cities, but they're actually doing a very good job.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Be very thankful for
Agreed. So you grew up around here. So what stimulated you opening? Is that why you opened right here in Ramsey then?
Yes, actually, we were in Anoka for a little while. I wanted to be in Ramsey, couldn't find a spot in Ramsey. And then we just got too big, so we had to go. So I found a building. It's kind of a long, good story, but got the new building. We are growing right now, so we will be moving or building a new building. But with the Highway 10 reconstruction, thank you, Ramsey residents, for wanting a bigger Highway 10 and safer Highway 10 now. I get to deal with that.
Yeah.
But anyways, so that's dealing with the government issue. It takes a long time, but so we will be moving
Okay.
or building. So
I remember that brings me back to when you were in the little house on
Yeah,
47 there. I forget that's you've been in Ramsey then for a while, because that was quite a while ago that you
2012.
were
Yep.
that you moved here to the corner of Sunfish and Highway 10. So
Now let me get to a point. Those of you who know me and know dual printing, the most important thing about dual printing is
you do more than just printing.
You do it all.
the taco truck.
The taco truck.
That's I go to the city and I ask them, hey, we're building, we're moving. They go, the first thing that they say is burrito's coming back?
How did that start? So tell us, how did that start? Did he approach you, or did you go, or are you friends in some way, or how did that start?
This is one of the cool things of dual printing. This is probably the reason why, it kind of is the only reason why dual printing is around. He came in, he wanted some t-shirts done, gave him the price, I can't afford that. I said, well, bring your taco truck by a few times, I'll buy food for the crew. And he goes, can I park it here? And that was 4 years ago.
So you touched on t-shirts. So
Yeah.
let's talk about that.
Okay.
Dual printing
We print everything.
is your slogan, is we print everything. So tell us a little bit about that. Tell us a little bit about the other things that you wouldn't normally think go along with printing that you offer at Dual.
Well, obviously, people think of business cards, brochures, letterheads, something, envelopes, something like that. But we'll make this book. If you want a hardbound book, we can make a book like that. The signs, banners, vehicle lettering, all the large format stuff. We're talking foam core signs, backlit signs, stuff like that. But also, we got screen printing embroidery. Jackie B's got an embroidered on shirt. This is our new product called Silicone, which is actually really cool. And then obviously screen printed shirts, t-shirts, lots and lots and lots and lots of size for sure. And then you got the pens, the keychains, the golf balls, and promotional items that we can do. So about 67% of the product we actually produce in-house. So 33% we were farming out. I started out in the basement of my house just being a broker. If somebody would call up, I'd figure out how to do the job and find somebody to do it and get it done. And as product lines grew, I'd bring product inside. So currently we brought embroidery in-house. All our digital large format printing is in-house. Reason why we will be getting a bigger place is we're going to bring screen printing in-house, which takes 5,000 square feet.
Mm-hmm.
And we will actually get a flatbed large format printer. We'll print a 5 foot by 10 foot sheet. And then we have another device that you can take that sheet and you put it on that device and it'll cut it out to whatever shapes you want. So these ceiling panels we can print on. Anything about 2.5 inches thick we can print on. So it's really cool.
Wow.
It's one of those, it's a toy. You're like, sweet. Let's
Yeah,
put it on
for
this.
sure.
So, but that's the products and stuff like that.
Cool. So not just printing on paper.
Nope.
That's what I always like to say to people.
How long did you say total you've been in business? When you
September
started?
1st, 1999 is when dual printing started. I grew up in printing. I went to Fourth Baptist Christian Day School in North Minneapolis. I would take the MTC bus from school to my parents' work. It was at the U of M. I had to walk Hennepin Avenue. That was from the bus stop, drop me off at one end. I'd walk Hennepin Avenue, go to the other end, and I'd go to my parents' work and I'd hang out there for 3 hours or something like that until they had to leave to go home. And so I grew up in the printing industry, and I kind of grew my parents' business a little bit. So
Very
if you can
cool.
say
Very
that.
cool.
Very cool. So with that, if you could go back to yourself 20 years ago, 18 years ago, starting a new business
Yep.
that you were, what advice would you give yourself to make it easier for you?
Well, I think for any company, and specifically for printing, you come with a business plan, stick to it, make sure it happens. Don't get caught up in, I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to do this. Or somebody calls up and says, I need this mailing out next week. Yeah, I'll get it done for you, type of thing. And then hire good people. I mean, it's so important to hire the good people, people that are smarter than you. Trust to pay them. Another thing is, in hiring, do a good job hiring. Ask the right questions. Don't be afraid.
Yeah.
I hired one person, and it was a mistake. And it was a mistake in more than one way. Is that I put him in a position that he wasn't doing well in, so it made him feel bad. And I'm like, and we had it ended up being a great conversation. We both agreed it was a good position, but and then you do have a person that's in the wrong position. It's good that you actually let them go for them and obviously
Right.
for the company.
So out of all of those struggles that you've learned over the years, not
Yeah.
all those life lessons, right?
Yep.
that you've learned over the years, is there something that you look back on, or maybe even currently that you look at as a professional highlight, or something that happened that you're like, yes, this is why? I know you personally, and I know you give back a lot, and you're involved in the community just in general, but is there something, a little story that you could share that may have happened, that once that happened, you were like, yes, this is why I do what I do?
Yeah, so I touched on it earlier, the sole reason why dual printing is around is so that we can provide low cost or free printing to Christian organizations that their purpose is to promote the gospel. If you're an electrical company, if you're a realtor and you're a Christian, sorry, that's great you're a Christian, but you don't qualify for that. So that's why we are around. Otherwise, no, the printing industry is too tough, especially this niche that we're smaller.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, customers don't know as much about artwork and stuff that needs to be happening, so we end up spending a lot of time with them, educating them about that. And it's a small ticket job. Now, if we had Target or something like that, where it was $50,000 job, yeah, we'd be able to spend more time. Also, they actually know how to provide artwork. But doing that work for the Christian organizations is very fulfilling. And this last December, when I was doing the employee reviews, I asked all the employees the standard questions and stuff like that. In the end, I asked them, how are you doing? Are you feeling fulfilled here? And it was great to hear, yes, actually, I feel great. This is, I feel like I can have a career here. And we've been able to pay the employees, I feel, above average salaries so they can support themselves and hopefully support the future and their family or whatever may happen. But there's one, I don't know if you know Britt, she's up front. I asked her the question, and this is, I might tear up, but her response just totally floored me. She goes, I can feel the Holy Spirit here. I wasn't expecting that at all. I'm like, and I asked her, what do you mean? She goes, the customers, they're so great. I'm going, well, what about me? But anyways, it doesn't matter. And she goes, no, we actually had a customer come in, and he goes, I just want to let you know I'm praying for you.
Super cool.
And she was so touched by that.
That's
so,
awesome.
Yeah, that was really cool.
That's great.
I love that.
See, something I didn't know even about Dual is that you give back to the local churches and stuff. So that's super cool.
Big time.
Yeah.
So a few things from you in the business, working every day with your employees, with your team, with your customers. What are a few things that you feel make Dual Printing successful?
Well, the one aspect on the business end of it is that we do everything. I mean, we got a lot of customers come in and say, I am so thankful I don't have to go a different place for my embroidery, for my business cards, and my vehicle lettering. They understand that if you do that much, you're not exactly going to be the best at all of it necessarily. And I'll fully admit that we do learn as we bring a new product line. It's a little bit of a learning curve, but we do a good job. And if we do make a mistake, I had one customer, we made a mistake, and he goes, "Man, you know how to apologize." I'm like, okay, we made a mistake.
Yeah.
I'm not going to make any
Yeah.
excuses. We'll make
Yeah.
it right. And he's very happy that we made it right. So.
Good. Good.
Well, so as we wrap up, is there anything, one more thing you wanted to tell the local community about Do-All or about yourself that they might not know, or some interesting fact, or one last thing you want to share with them before we wrap up?
Well, about myself, I'm glad you said that. Nothing about dual printing. I went through a divorce 5 years ago. You guys are probably going, what's this about? And it was very eye-opening. You know, I didn't go along with the divorce. It wasn't, I didn't want to put my wife down. I didn't choose to do it like that. But what I want to get to is that when I went to get help on how to fight for my marriage, it wasn't there. And I've done a lot of research on it, and I found that divorce doesn't do good for society at all. 85% of the people who have been arrested come from a broken family. And I'm not talking a family where a spouse died. Either a family where there's divorce or the parents are not, they conceived out of wedlock. So my passion and what I hope to do is actually can pull myself away from dual printing so I can actually literally go to Congress and lobby against no-fault divorce. I don't want to, people might not be upset or something like this in the situation. Just I wish I had a lot more time to explain it, but better words to make a more difficult divorce, but to make them understand exactly what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And me, obviously, I have faith. Those who have faith, to have them understand why God really created marriage and what the purpose of marriage was. So.
Cool. All about the community, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's really what
Yeah.
the gist of
Exactly.
all this is much more, like you said, using your platform as a business owner and as a community member to better the community. So it is just as important as your backstory for your business. So we appreciate you sharing it.
Yeah,
And
thank
anything parting words? Otherwise,
Yeah. If someone wants to get in touch with you, Tori, what's the best way?
Email.
Website, phone,
I'm
email?
an email junkie.
Okay.
I mean, I very rarely look at my cell phone during work. I feel bad about that. And phone calls, if you just email it, that's great.
okay,
Email address is on the website.
awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming in and sharing your story. We really
Thanks.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you. This is really cool.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Great
Tori.
time.